When people tell me that they've never seen The Shining, my reaction usually starts with shock and then leads more into extreme jealousy. If there's any movie that I could wipe from my memory completely just to get to experience for the first time again, The Shining would be a strong contender. I issue a word of caution to those who have never seen it before, and it's not about gore factor or any of that. It's just that The Shining is such a perfect movie and lives up to its prestige more so than almost any film in history, that once you've seen it, it will make all other works in the horror genre look like glorified participation trophies. I don't know if many 13-year-olds go through Stanley Kubrick hyperfixations, but when I was in 7th grade or so, his movies were quite literally the only thing on my mind. I have trouble remembering whether this or A Clockwork Orange were my introductions to him, but either way, I had no business watching either of these movies in 7th grade. And you can mostly blame my middle school social studies teacher for all of this. All he would do was somehow weave Kubrick, Chaplin, or Hitchcock in his lessons. He always had an analogy for one of these guys, and as an adolescent cinephile trying to get his hands on literally anything else, he may have single-handedly generated my obsession with all three of these filmmakers. Even after a decade of watching this movie almost religiously, I still find something new on each watch to focus on throughout the runtime that helps me better connect the dots. Kind of. The beauty of The Shining, and with many of the greatest horror films of all time, is that it is specifically designed for you to not put all of the pieces together. The unease comes from the lack of answers. I'm going to add absolutely nothing new to the conversation surrounding this film, no matter what I say, so I'm just going to go with what I focused on this viewing and hope that it makes someone out there see the bits of the film in a different light. First off, like many Kubrick films, but especially with this one, the camera setups are almost never elaborate. The opening scene where the helicopter whooshes through the mountainous landscape is without a doubt the most complicated series of setups in the entire film. The film does have the quintessential slow-moving dolly shots that Kubrick is known for, but the static shots here are some of the most elevated instances of shot-reverse shot in the history of the medium. The level of atmosphere that is able to be built and sustained through a scene whose cutting is as simple as two mediums back and forth is astounding. Secondly, Kubrick's manipulation of the delivery of scares in tandem with these setups. People often reference the tracking shots of Danny on his big wheel as some of the most stomach-churning tracking shots in history. But why? There is only ever one reveal in these moments, and it's the little girl standing at the edge of the hallway, but that's far from the most graphic images to come involving these girls, so why are these shots so iconic? We expect there to be something around each corner that terrifies us, but there almost exclusively never is. Kubrick's decision to make the most graphic scare reveals in the film be in mostly static shots that are abruptly cut to is part of why the dread of this film never ceases. You're simultaneously expecting him to lean into something he's setting up to scare you, while at the same time waiting for him to just do it without any warning. It's perhaps the purest form of manipulation you can hope to find. Thirdly, the escalation and evolution of the musical score. The score fades in and out of the film to varying degrees for the first hour and a half or so. There's more than one iconic cue in this chunk of the film that either maintains a relatively loud string orchestral that's designed to unnerve you, or a slow percussion buildup and release designed to build and release tension on a scene-by-scene basis. But what's hidden beneath all of this is a meticulously slow buildup and inclusion of a vocal, almost tribal-like chorus that utterly explodes in the final half hour when it becomes the main focal point of the score. Aligning with the film's symbolism of Native American genocide and the spiritually barbaric lore behind the Overlook Hotel itself, the more these characters sink into the madness presented to them, the more comfortable the madness itself feels manifesting through these vocals. Fourth, the fourth wall breaks. There are dozens throughout the film, and from what I noticed last night, all but a couple are done by Jack Nicholson. They are truly blink and you miss them, but if you want another justification as to how in the hell these simple static setups have the mood that they do, just pay extra close attention to where Nicholson's eyes go in these moments. He'll acknowledge you for barely the length of a single frame and then move on like nothing happened. These moments become more prominent as the film goes on, too, almost as if you, the audience member, are sinking deeper and deeper into the hotel and becoming the caretaker yourself. There's also 1.5 million other things I could talk about regarding my theories on certain aspects, like the bear imagery, Tony's origins, and just how the shining ability came to these characters to begin with, but there's enough material there for an entirely different video that will probably be double the length of this one anyway, so for now I'm gonna leave it at that. It's sad to see how seemingly desensitized we've become to more psychological horror, and strictly focused on the amount of jump scares to scientifically prove whatever the scariest movie of all time is or whatever, because I wholeheartedly believe that this kind of cerebral warfare is far more frightening than a guy in a mask with a loud violin cue. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching the video and for continuing to tune in to our October horror binge. Make sure to leave your thoughts on the film down below, as well as subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when all of these videos are dropping. Thank you all again. Like the video and share the video. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.